Okay, say there. So we're learning today. Let me see if this works over here. Okay, excellent. All right. So we're learning today. We're in Zevachim Daf Yudalef. We're starting in the bottom of Yudalef base. Says the Gemara. Tanan Osam. Shaya Rekiva Omer Kol Domim Shenichnesu Leichol Lechaper Psulim. If you take blood that's supposed to be outside of Beis Hamikdash and you do it inside, it's possible. Right, the inside and the outside. Let's use our picture of Beis Hamikdash. Right, this is Beis Hamikdash. If there are many of the karbonos have to be done in the outside area of Beis Hamikdash, right over here. That's called Azara. Now, if someone went into the Heichel, took blood into the Heichel, so then it's going to be paisalit. That's what Gemara says over here. It makes it possible because you're not supposed to go inside. So says the Gemara. Only chatos that goes in is possible, not other karbonos. That's what we mentioned before. The Gemara mentioned it in this daf, and the daf yesterday, that only chatos that goes inside is possible. Now the Gemara says not so posh. It's a machlokes Rabbi Kiva Rechacham. Rabbi Lezer Omer Afa Osham. Not only chatos, but also Osham. Shenema kechatos kaosham. So chatos and Osham are similar. Bishram Blozer Kedom time Blozer has a reason. It says chatos Osham. Elo Rabbanon on my time. What's the reason Rabbanon? Amar Rava Osham nichnas damoy lifnim pasul loy matzi omart. It can be that Osham that goes inside of the pasul. Why not? I learn from oilo. What do you learn from oilo? Ma oilo she kolil nichnas damoy lifnim ksheira. Oshu sheina kolil lekol sheken. What is the definition of an oilo? What's a korban oilo? Kolil. All goes on his back. So oilo is more chashuv than the asham because the whole thing goes on his back. It's more gedushadik. And still, if you put the blood inside, they're not paisalit. So asham, which is not so kaddish, and you put it inside, it should be paisal. Kol shekar should not be paisal. Ma'alo oilo shekereinu mechaberes. Okay, but oilo does it cause kapara? We learned it earlier, meaning it does do kapara, but indirectly. It doesn't come for kapara. Minchas choyte dechiach. So being arrived from minchas choyte. What's a minchas choyte? Minchas choyte does cover kapara, and you're not supposed to put it inside. Says the Gemara, v'leimo chatas oif dechiach. What about chatas oif? That what? Chatas oif. This we also mentioned previously briefly. There's a chatos that you bring as a bird. The bird is the chatos. Instead of bringing an animal, you bring a bird. The Gemara understands now that a bird that goes inside is not possible. Says the Gemara, chatas oif baya de'avavinu. That itself, I'm not so sure. If I'm not so sure if it goes inside, it's probably so not. So I can't bring it around from there. Says more of a leaf and while minchas choyte shekereinu min zevach. Says the Gemara, why don't you say the reason why I can't learn from minchas choyte? Because so the Gemara says the Bach takes away the word v'lifrach. So the Gemara, what does the Gemara say? It says let's learn from minchas choyte, right?
What's the reason if you take it inside it's possible? I missed one.
Exactly because of. Is there any meaning to it? Probably yes. You go to a place which is too high, you jump too high, you fall down. Yeah. You have to go slowly. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong to the place of Kodesh. But exactly because the Torah says if you go inside, you make it possible. So nothing more says.
Now we're trying to figure out if some different things that they're done inside that they should be possible.
Exactly. So the more says, what about Osham? So he says, we first look at the Moilo. Because we can't learn from Moilo. Why can't we learn from Moilo? Because Moilo is Kolel. So let's look for Minchas Choyte. Minchas Choyte is, so the Gemara says you can't learn from Moilo because Moilo is not Mechaberes. Minchas Choyte Chiach. So the Gemara says, but we'll be right with Minchas Choyte. So the Gemara, Mal Minchas Choyte shekereinu min zevach. But Minchas Choyte is not a zevach. What's a mincha? Mincha is flour. It's not an animal. So that's the reason to differentiate. Says the Gemara, oil techiach. So bring a right from oil. Which this is always the theme of the Gemara. We're bringing a common denominator. I want to learn from Oylo. You can't bring a right from Oylo. Oylo is color. I want to learn from Minchas Choite. I can't learn Minchas Choite because Minchas Choite, it's not a zevach, it's not a korban. Okay, so let's learn from the common denominator between the two. Says the Gemara, they, when they go inside, they are kosher. Yeah, sorry, I said it wrong. Oylo is kosher, according to Rabbanan, right? That's what you mentioned before. Going back to our previous sentence, I was saying it's possible. The Gemara says that Asham should be kosher, should be possible, like chatos. So it can be if Oylo is kosher, so why should Asham be kosher? Says the Gemara, right? That's what the Gemara says. How did the Gemara start the Omud? The first line of the Omud. Oylo she call it nichas tabafim ksheiro. Asham she call it sheino kol lekol shekem nichas tabafim should be kosher.
Lower level. What's
Yeah, meaning Oylo.
Yeah, an oil which is all going, which the whole thing is burned.
It's all burned. If it goes in other words, it's more kodesh. If it went inside, it ruins it. Also, which is not so kodesh, and it went inside, it should be okay. That's it. I said it wrong. So the Gemara says, Sheinem Chabers.
So that's the difference. It's not mechaper, so you
That-
can't compare.
Right. Says the Gemara, what Michas Choite? That what? Michas Choite, when it goes inside, is not possible. Says the Gemara, Michas Choite is not a korban. Right? The Gemara puts inside, what about Chatas Soif? The Gemara Chatas Soif is not, so we're not sure about it. But what about Michas Choite? And I mean Zevach, or Tochiach. What's Tzal Shove? What's Tzal Shove? Lo Rizek, Tzal Shove, Shem, Kodesh Kadosh, Nichas Lavnim Kshevim. You bring it inside because kosher. Avan Aviyosh, Kodesh Kadosh, Nichas Lavnim kosher.
Even though an ashram which is a lower level, now you can prove from here that it's
It's going to be kosher. Like an oil, like a Michas Choite. Amalei Rovi Ba'inish Lavash Velifrich Ma'atzah Shovev Sheken Ein Lem Kitzvah. Turbo Osh V'Shesh Lo Kitzvah. That the Gemara said the same sentence in previous daf. The Minchas Choite and a korban oil, you can bring any size you want. You want to bring a very expensive one, you can bring an expensive one. Cheap one, a cheap one. And also there's a certain amount. It's 2 shtei shkolim. That's the value. So that's why I think it's minimum and maximum. That's what it is. Rashi brings over here because of shkolim. Has to be because of shkolim. So Yimele, that could be. It's very specific. So maybe that's why if it's very specific, like you don't have so much leeway over there. No much leeway. Maybe that's the reason we're more strict about it. No, you can't learn from each other. And the time that domo shel domo shel acher. It says dom by chatos. If the dom goes inside because pasul, when davka the blood of chatos and not blood of asham. The one who says the mandama that says that asham is pasul, which is Rabbi Lazar. What is he going to do with it? Doma v'loy b'sara. Davka the blood because pasul, not the meat. Ve'idach dam dama. It says damo with a hey. So one is telling you dam shel zela dam shel acher, and one is telling you dam v'loy basar. The fact you have an extra, you don't dash it. They say, says the Gemara, this goes back to the previous sugya. Previous daf, we're discussing what we learned in the Mishnah. We said that there's 2 korbanos if you do shalosh shma as possible. Which were the 2 korbanos? Did we say beginning? No. Beginning of the Masechta. Beginning of the first Mishnah of the Masechta. Which 2 korbanos you do shalosh shma as possible? Chatos and Pesach. Comes up Elazar, it says, Asham as well. I think more brother the Machlekes depends if Asham when you go inside becomes possible or not. That's what we got into this. Says the Gemara, Bishwa Abon and Ami Osh Shach to Shalish Shmo Kosher. This Shmo is kosher. How do you eat Kesh Mincha Lechatos, Mincha Losh? I don't understand why the Pasuk compares Mincha to Chatos and Osh. Why? So more brings Ketan, Tanyo, Shimon Oimer, Kodesh, Kodashimi, Kachatos, Vechosham. It says that Kodesh Kodashimi is like Chatos and Osham. Minchas Choite Arei Kechatos. Minchas Choite has a comparison to Chatos and to Osham. I'm comparing a Mincha V'Choite, and I'm saying it looks like a Chatos and it looks like a Osham. What does it mean? It looks like both. Explain the Gemara. Minchas choyre kachad comes to shlo lishma psula. Minchas the davar ikashu comes to lishma ksheru. Meaning, it says by mincha that it's kechatos kasham. It says by legabe minachas. It says kodesh kashim he kechatos kasham. That's what it says. So you're saying sometimes you compare it to chatos, sometimes you compare it to asham. When do I do what? Says, well, I'll tell you what. If it's a minchas choyte, I compare it to chatos. If it's a minchas nedava, you bring us donation, I compare it to asham. If it's a minchas choyte, so then I make it pasul, like a chatos. If it's minchas nedava, I do like asham, which is kosher. So something's like a chatos, something's like a asham.
You know when?
So Chazal told us, makes sense, the minchas choyte is like a chatos, because they're both kofirchit. And minchas nedava is like a asham. But that's only if you differentiate with chatos and asham. But if I say the chatos and asham are the same din, so why you say chatos and asham? That's what I was asking. Why am I comparing it to chatos and asham? Chatos and asham are the same halach. So to teach you something else. The nan shaloi b'klishoris psulo v'abshimin machshe says if you did the mincha without a klishoris, without putting it into a vessel, because the way it works is the mincha goes into a vessel. You do kvitza, you take a little bit from the flour, and you put it into a kli. What happens if you didn't put it into the kli? It's kosher. It's possible, sorry. If Shimon says it's kosher. Why is the Shimon says it's kosher? Compared to chatos and asham. Balo oiv de biyad, oiv de biyom in kechatos. Bekli, oiv de besmal keosham. Shimon learns. We'll see it later in the Masechta. Korban chatos needs to be done by yad. Meaning you have to sprinkle, you have to put the finger. We learned it before. You take the finger, you put it on the mizbeach. Asham, according to Shimon, can be done with a kli. Meaning I take the blood, I receive the blood of the kli, and I throw it from the kli. So I'm saying that mincha, you can pick and choose. You can either do it with your hand, or you can do the kli. Either like a chatos or like a asham. So that's why it says kechatos kosher. Tell you can do both ways.
Not teach you that.
Lishma v'lo lishma. Says the Gemara, "V'Rab Shimon Aykom Avik Lahachi Fig Lahachi." Meaning, according to Rab Shimon Aliba de Abelazar, you're learning both. Chatos v'asham lishma v'lo lishma. Chatos v'asham kli and yad. You do both. Says the Gemara, Ikakol give you the braid of Chiod also the second Rosh. Said you could do it by yad or by kli. Minchas choyde the psul shlo yishma time echrini. How do I know the minchas choyde is psul yishma? Not from chatos hasham. Chatos ta'amay dechti behi. Minchas choyde not dechti behi. The word he is mentioned by chatos, and the word he is mentioned by mincha to tell you they're both the same. The rabbanon ma'ichas choyde k'shoshel lechatos. Could the rabbanon why is Osho compared to chatos? Meaning, where are you talking about? The Gemara says kechatos k'hasham. You compare chatos Osho to each other. So the Gemara before learned the chatos v'asham tell me that when you go inside, they're both possible. According to Rabbanon, not both possible. So why chatos v'asham compared? Says the Gemara, lemechal chatos tu nesmicha af asham tu tzmicha. Different limud. Chatos smicha asham smicha. It's very interesting. These dafim talking about going from really a daf of yesterday as well, daf of Shabbos. A lot of new concepts. Like the Gemara is throwing you different concepts that we're going to learn. Many of them we're going to deal with them later. But it's like this. It's a lot of concepts, new concepts. But we'll accept it. That's how you learn the daf. You learn the concepts, and then we'll get more into it. So I remember what the Gemara said. The Yosef ben Choyni said that anything which is nishchat l'shem Pesach or l'shem Chata is possible. So it goes like this: if you take a Pesach and you share it shelo lishma, possible. Take a chatos, yishat shelo lishma, possible. Other korbanos, yishat shelo lishma is kosher. Comes Yosef ben Choyni and says, if you shecht something l'shem Pesach, or you say you shecht something l'shem chatos, it's possible as well. The same way Pesach and chatos when you shecht shelo lishma is possible. When you shecht something l'shem Pesach l'shem chatos, also becomes possible.
You supposed to give, let's say, an asham, and you say that it's for Pesach. That makes it possible. That's what he's saying.
Yes, exactly. Says the Gemara, Yochanan, Yosef, ben Choyim, ve'Abelazar, Mudovech.
Because if you're normally giving an asham and you just weren't makavin, then it's kosher.
Not leave it there. Abelazar, yes. Let's take something. Let's take Shlomim. Take Korban Shlomim and you mechavim l'Shem Pesach. You place it. You do Shlomim l'Shem Pesach. It's not possible. Say Gemara, Yosef, ben Choyim, ve'Abelazar, Mudovech. Abelazar also agrees with that. Rabbi says they're arguing Lagavi Chatos. What is it? Which Abelazar we're talking about? The time. What brings the Brisa? It says in the Brisa, so a Pesach she'ovro shnosim. Pesach passes. You have a Korban Pesach, but a Korban Pesach needs to be within 1 year. To be 1 year old, in order to be Korban Pesach. Here it passed its year. Can't be a Korban Pesach anymore. And he shechted bizmanu lishvoi, meaning took a Korban Pesach, which is not kosher because it's more than a 1 year old, and he shechted on Yudal Nisan l'Shem Pesach. Chen shechet l'Shem Pesach bizmanu, he shecht others l'Shem Pesach. If the one adds bizmanu, he has to be doing the entire Pesach. Abelazar Paisel. Others with other korbanos. Korban Shlomim, Korban Oilo, l'Shem Pesach. Abelazar Poisel, V'Yabshur Machshir. Clearly Abelazar says, like if Yosef ben Choyim in our Mishnah. And when you shech the shalei l'Shem something else, it makes it possible. That's what we saw in our Mishnah. Rashi says over there, Kol Shah Zevachim sheyizbechu b'Yudal Nisan l'Shem Pesach. Has to be Davka in the time Pesach. So he says the same thing. It says that if I take a regular Korban Pesach during the year, Korban Pesach today, Gimel Tishrei, I take a Korban Pesach shechted. Is it kosher? No, it has to be Davka Yudal Nisan. So you know kosher l'shmoi, achayim ksherim l'shmoi. Others are kosher l'shmoi. Why? Because the only time, even Abelazar agrees, the only time when another korban is possible l'Shem Pesach is only when Yudal Nisan. But if I do it l'Shem Pesach on a different day, it'll be kosher.
It's not negated.
Not again. Very good.
Done it being a relevant time for that korban, that's what makes it possible?
Yeah. At least in this cases. Bizmano ishu kosher l'shmoi. Einu din shirshuru achem l'shmoi. That's what Bishus is a kavachomer. Kavachomer, if in Gimel Tishrei, oilo l'Shem Pesach is kosher, so you down Nisan, l'Shem Pesach should be kosher. I mean, Pesach during the year is wrong. You down Nisan is the only time it's kosher. All the korban l'Shem Pesach are kosher. So kosher can you down Nisan be kosher.
What about the day makes it possible? That's what he's saying. Why should the
Yeah.
day itself make it
Possible when it's better for that korban itself. I'm not Abelazar chilu for dvarim. I'll tell you, I get a different kavachomer. If I take Korban Pesach during the year and I do it l'Shem Pesach, now we learned already earlier, is a kosher puzzle. Gimel Tishrei, puzzle. What happens if I shech Korban Pesach l'Shem a different korban? Is a kosher puzzle. It was a whole sugi that we learned. What happens to that Pesach with Rosh Hashanah? Turns to be Shlomim. It transforms to be Shlomim. Korban Pesach on Yudal Nisan has to be Lishmoi, Shalosh is possible. Shishayim Rosh Hashanah is the opposite. If you do Lishmoi, it's possible. If you do L'Shem something else, anything, it turns to be Shlomim. It's kosher. So he says, Pesmano Ishu kosher Lishmoi, En Yudin Shiyuchshar L'Shem Acherim. So he's like this, during the year, it comes, he's trying to say to shlog of this kavachomer. He said, listen, if you want to go with kavachomer with like a sensible, logical thing, it won't work. Why? Pesach during the year. L'Shem Pesach is kosher puzzle. No, L'Shem Pesach. During the year.
If it's not the time of the Korban Pesach.
No, it's puzzle. If I think
the time of the Korban Pesach.
And I share the Korban.
Someone's bringing a korban and says L'Shem Pesach.
No. Take a Korban Pesach, L'Shem Pesach. In other words, I shut the Korban Pesach down the right time. And because it's a puzzle.
Not Pesach.
I hear you basically you're referring to a question. Ask your question. But
yes, I'm just saying it's not a gay at all.
You
can't give a korban Pesach.
The korbanos when you do the L'Shem Pesach during the year doesn't do anything. But Korban Pesach, when you do L'Shem Pesach, is possible. I have to take more later. Go back a second. It's good to look at that Chesed with base. Go see the Chesed with base. Chesed with base, the 2 dots, 5-6 lines down the and with base. Pesach bezman l'shmoy kosher, shaloi l'shmoy pasul. Shaymer sashon l'shmoy pasul, shaloi l'shmoy kosher. That's it. So Korban Pesach during the year, if I do l'shem Pesach, it's pasul. I do Korban Pesach l'shem oila, kosher. So he says on Yudal Nisan, when I do l'shem Pesach, it's kosher, of course. So if I do l'shem oila, of course it should be kosher. Because during the year when l'shem Pesach is not kosher, but it is kosher oila. So on Pesach, when it's kosher l'shem Pesach, of course it be kosher oila. In other words, Yeshua says, if I want to come to this logic, you want to say this kavachimers, so it won't work because we know that's not the din. I have a look, that's why I have to pass. That's what he says. My b'shaymo yisashana sheina kosher l'shmoy. Kosher l'shem acherim, b'zmanu shekosher l'shmoy yidin she'elu l'shem acherim. That's what it says. V'yuch shapesel ba'abos shelo l'shmoy. You agree with me that that's not true, says Yeshua. V'cherat ha'omer, mali, and I say more, it adds more. Mali yachshu acherim b'shaymo yisashana l'shmoy, shekenu kosher l'shem acherim. During the year, you know why other korbanos are kosher l'shem Pesach? Because he's kosher l'shem acherim. They're interchangeable. Pesach can be an oila, and oila can be a Pesach. They're one big happy group. So here's a blazer's basically point. When it goes both ways, it's a two-way street. When Pesach is kosher for others are kosher for Pesach. When Pesach is possible for others are possible for Pesach. During the year, they go together. Pesach becomes other korbanos. It's kosher. Other korbanos will be kosher as well. But in Yudalid, the Pesach of other korbanos will be possible. So you made the other korbanos will be Pesach will be also possible. That's supposed to shita. It goes both ways. You made the what? Says Rashi. The same thing by chatos. The same logic. Chatos l'shem acherim is possible kosher. Chatos. Possible. So acherim l'shem chatos will be possible as well. Because the blazers basically give me a rule. It's a two-way street. Whenever A for B is possible, so B for A is possible. Whenever A for B is kosher, B for A is kosher. So chatos always is possible. Shem acherim, acherim l'shem Pesach is kosher. So he says the blazer holds exactly like our Mishnah. That's the shita of Rabbi Yochanan. Now, Rab is going to argue. What is the argument based on? Let's continue on the brisa. So according to you, Pesach is not as strong as Shlomim. Why? So the best way to understand it's very hard to understand, but the way that it says, the way Tosh says it, he says during the year, it's not a time of Pesach. It's a time of Shlomim. And then you say it's kosher. Everything is kosher. Pesach should be kosher. In the time of Pesach, Shlomim should Pesach is possible. So you want to tell me that comes out that you make Shlomim stronger than Pesach. Because then the error in the time zone, so to speak, of Shlomim, everything is kosher. In the time zone of Pesach, everything is possible. So Shlomim is stronger than Pesach. You see, look right now. Look at the last Rashi over here. Look at Rashi. In Ken, imata poisel acher l'shmoim bezmanoi, hurata pesach dakar b'shlomim. Shekol hashana shizman shlomim. All the year, the time of shlomim, Pesach hanishcha d'shmoy kosher. Pesach nishcha d'shmoy is kosher. V'hayoyim shuzman Pesach kol shlomim shcha d'shmoy psulim. Instead of machshevet shloi godol mikor shlomim b'Pesach. The power of Shlomim is stronger than the power of Pesach. Do what to say. If I do Pesach L'Shem Shlomim, it's possible. Shlomim L'Shem Pesach is kosher. That's what you want to say. So, what's the problem with saying that? The pasuk tells me that by Pesach, we learned it earlier. The Torah tells you Pesach is worse than Shlomim. Pesach because Pesach Shlomim not. According to you, I found something that Shlomim is worse than Pesach. Right? Bizman Shlomim. Because, yes. Look at Loshe Tais. Tais says it's short. Zman Shlomi Pesach Shel Shlomi Kosher. Zman Pesach Shlomi Shel Pesach Psulim. Shlomim is a more powerful, because in the time of Shlomim everything is kosher, and time of Pesach everything is possible. So I'm making Shlomim a more powerful thing. It's hard. It's hard
because the Shlomim will not be possible.
By doing the time of Shlomim everything is kosher.
Even if you have,
I mean, if I do Pesach Shem Shlomim, it becomes kosher. But Shlomim Shem Pesach, the entire Pesach is possible. So you're making Shlomim stronger than Pesach, even though Torah tells you Pesach is stronger than Shlomim. Hard question. It's not an easy thing to understand. But that's a good moment to say. Yeah.
no, in this case, what we're saying now is that the Pesach is
As a process, something is strong.
Right. Hey, it's a good area. You're saying, today's man Pesach, it's possible.
Meaning the Shlomim is not as strong as the Bar Pesach.
Oh, what is it? It is strong.
First thing you make it stronger, but it's like the other way around.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
like-
It's a difficult line in the Gemara.
Right. Because the Pesach ultimately passes the Shlomim.
Yeah.
Right? That means the Pesach is really strong. That's meaning, I don't know.
If that's what makes it strong, then that's strong.
So now the Gemara understands. It's a good area. Let's put it as a question. Might say you're making. Why is it called stronger? The Gemara here calls it strong. Okay, good question. Says the Gemara. In this case, the Machshir. Says the Gemara. Chazar blazer don't din acher. So okay, you know what? Let me try something else. Matzinu moisa pesach ba'shlomim vein moisa shlomim ba'pesach. You find that an extra pesach. What do you do? You have person has moisa pesach. It means let's say you have 2 korbanos pesach. You used one. What do you do with the other one? We learned it earlier. The kol shlomim. What do you do when you have an extra shlovim? It doesn't become Pesach. Pesach that turns to be shlovim when you have extra. Shachta bizmanu lishmoy l'shum shlovim pasul. If I shech l'shem shlovim, it's going to be pasul. When I shech Pesach, Pesach, when it's not Pesach, what is it? Shlovim. But when I did it in the time of Pesach l'shem shlovim, it's possible. That's special hashbon.
He has an extra one? Yeah, like what's he doesn't.
Let's designate 2, and he used only 1. That's an easy one.
What was the backup? That was the case.
That's a backup. Or he got lost.
Meaning it's not that he took 2 animals and I'm making these both carbon Pesach, and then he said, okay, we're just giving one, another one now.
That could also be a case.
Doesn't have to be made at that point.
No. If he did not use it, he didn't use it.
Time of the carbon Pesach passed.
Best.
They use it. He's just when
He ate Pesach. He checked one of them, not the other.
right. So he didn't check it.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Nicer,
Right.
sounded right.
Yeah.
Right. He
Right.
didn't check.
He didn't check.
Now the Shlamim.
Right. That's it. That's also the Gemara layer. Remember about 3 psukim.
Right.
To teach me that whatever is not a Pesach, which was not used, becomes a Shlom.
I think what ends a Shlam that's not.
It stays a Shlom.
Right.
Then this becomes a Pesach.
Oh.
So now the Gemara says, Uma Pesach Shem Moitzu B'Shlomim. Shachtu B'Zman L'Shem Shlomim Pasul. Even though it turns to be Shlomim, but right now when it's a entire Pesach, and they Shem L'Shem Shlomim is Pasul. Shlom Shem Moitzu B'Pesach.
If you have a Pesach that becomes a Shlam, you can't put that Shlam back to a Pesach.
No,
Same animal.
same animal. Shlom Shem Moitzu B'Pesach. If Shachtu Shem Pesach B'Zman and Edin Shem Psulim. So Pesach, who can be Shlomim, but still when I shech L'Shem Shlomim in the wrong time, it's going to ruin it. So Shlomim, who can now be Pesach, Kosh can change the time, is going to ruin it. So the Gemara David Avon Beis, Hamalai B'Yeshua, Matzinu, Moisa Chatos Ba'oilo, and Moisa Oilo Ba'Chatos. So according to you, we have another problem. A Chatos, if you have an extra Chatos, same case. Person designate 2 Chatos. He used only 1. What do you do with the other one? The other one becomes an Oilo. It's not one of Chatos Meses. Because I mean you wait for it to get a blemish, you sell the one money you get oil.
Animal itself doesn't become an oil.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's still considered to be coming on oil for this purpose. So Matzim was a Chaz Ba'ilo, Ve'im Ta'ilo Ba'chatos. Man Chatos Shemoyto Ba'ilo. Shokto Shemoy Psulo. Chatos, then the extra becomes Oilo. If you shed it for Oilo's Pasul, Oilo Shein Mojo Ba'chatos. Shokto Shechatos and Nish Psulo. According to you, if you shed something to Shem Chatos, we Pasul. Right? Because if Chatos turns to be an Oilo, and you shed it for Oilo's Pasul, Oilo does not have to be a Chatos, he shed the Shem Chatos, he Pasul. Don't be a ref chatos, because chatos is always kosher. Torah pays shein kosher shmoy lebizmanoi. Uyu pasul lishmoy tivi shusua cheim lishmoy. By Pesach, when I shakta l'shem Pesach we pasul, I'm taking the carbon, I'm doing it for the right purpose of the carbon. Yeah, which is on the wrong time. Not at Pesach, it ruins it. So other ones that do for that purpose also we pasul. Chatos, whenever you do l'shem chatos, is kosher. Okay, so that's now. What do we see from the last sentence? The last back and forth. If Yeshua tells Lazar, according to you, something shek l'shem chatos will be pasul, and he says, no, don't be a right for chatos. So you see, he holds anything shek l'shem chatos is kosher. That's what That's the Gemara. That's what the sugya. Because sugya was, is Rabbi Lazar agreeing to Yosef ben Choynik? So Rabbi Yosef says, yeah, he agrees. Rabbi says, no, they don't agree with Gaman. They agree only by Pesach l'shem, something l'shem Pesach, but not something l'shem chatos. They're both medayik based on this. The Rabbi Yosef learns from the beginning of the Brayso, and Rabbi learns from the end of the Brayso. That's what it is. Okay. Hard Gemaras. Says the Gemara, Shimon Achiyazai. Yeah, I mean, we'll get back to that. Shimon Achiyazai says what? Shimon Achiyazai is the one who said that, if you remember the end of the Mishnah, he said, if you do it for a higher level carbon, it's kosher. For a lower level carbon, it's possible. That's what he said. Says the Gemara, what's the reasoning? Don't do chilul when they pick it up. In other words, if it goes higher, no chilul. It won't get ruined if you go up. It will get ruined only if you go down. We need this plus teach me something else. So how do you know that someone who eats what's a tevel? Tevel on my, so more specifically on truma. You didn't take a truma from a pile of grain. I think it's truma. The truma you're not allowed to eat. What happens? It's still a mixture. Is it a problem to eat the mixture before I took out the truma? It's chai misa. How do we know that? Something which is going to have truma, but didn't have truma yet. But I see the truma comes with daven. You see both. Hormu is loshon picking you up. Yeah, the same pasuk talking about both. Very good. Truma and korbanos. The fact that it says hormu loshon harama to tell you anything higher is kosher. The fact that it says loshon asid yarimu, not hormu, that tells you that for truma it's for tevelas time. You learn both. Now, going back to the sukkah, what did Shimon Achiyazar say? Shimon Achiyazar told us. What did he say? Shimon Achiyazar said that if it goes higher, it's kosher. Goes lower because possible. Now, so what is he going to ask him more? What am saying? Shein ve'miratzim. When I said it goes higher, is it kosher but not miratzeh? What did we say, Legabe, all the korbanos they do shalosh? My car? Right? My car? Oh. I apologize. So he says like this. So we learn like this: when you have any korban oil that you do l'shem shlamim, is it kosher or not kosher?
Yeah.
It's kosher. Is it meratzeh? No. That's the first sentence of the Mishnah. All the Gemara's. Kosher v'lo shabbai shchoy. Very good. That's all the Gemara's. Now comes Shimon Chiazario, and he says when it goes higher, it's kosher. What is he arguing? Does he say when it goes higher, it's kosher like Tanakama? The only thing he's coming to argue is we're going lower. You said that all korbanos are kosher. No. Higher is kosher, lower is puzzle. Or he's coming to argue in both. Lower is puzzle. You hold it's kosher. Higher, not only it's kosher, it's also meratzim. That's what I was asking. Are the kosher vein meratzi? He's arguing only one. Or do ksheim meratzi without the plikin? You want to say it's meratzi if it goes higher, and they're arguing both. Let's learn. Look at our Mishnah. Habchor ve'ameiser sheshachtom l'shem shlomim ksheir. Chor and meiser that you shechted l'shem shlomim. Chor and meiser. The Gemara brings an example. The Mishnah brings an example. It's kosher. Why? Because shlomim is higher. Shlomim shechted l'shem chor l'shem meiser psulim. The opposite is possible. He's like ksheir meratzim chor baritzuyu. Again, let's understand what we're talking about. The Gemara is asking, do we say that according to Shimon Chiazario, when I do oilo l'shem shlomim, shlomim shem oilo, is it meratz or not? Or it's only kosher? Like that account. So the Gemara, one of the examples we have in the Mishnah is Perlish Shlom. Let's go back to the Mishnah just to make sure we're all on the same page. Now, based on Aleph, the end of the Mishnah. Yosef ben Choy. What did Yechezkel say? Sorry, Shimon Chiazar. Next one. Hashachtu shegavoya mehem ksheim. High is kosher. L'shem namok mehem psulim. Ketzad. Kodesh kadosh shodesh kodesh kalim psulim. Kodesh kadosh shodesh kodesh kadoshim ksheim. That's example number one. Kal l'shem kodesh. That's one example. Second example. Abchor v'ameis shachtu shem shlomim ksheimim. Shlom shodesh b'choy u'shebayis psulim. Okay. Now here goes the question. When he says kosher, is it kosher meratzeh or only kosher? When it says bechor, when I check bechor l'shem shlom, is the bechor come for a ritzi? What does the bechor do? It's a gift to the kohen. So I'm not meratzeh. I don't have any obligation. There's no neder over here. The firstborn goes to the kohen. So if he says kosher, there's no two stages, kosher or meratzeh. So by b'chor, I'm saying it's kosher, but not meratzeh because there's no ritzui. So, but let's say that you gave it to the kohen and he shechted l'shem shlom. Not kosher. It's not meratzeh. So you say the kosher there doesn't mean meratzeh. So also when I'm talking about shlomim and oilo, it's kosher ain't meratzeh. I think one wants to bring it right. Says the Gemara, there's no ritzuy b'chor. Elak ksheim ve'ein meratzeh. Umi say the ksheim ve'ein meratzeh, reish shadam ksheim ve'ein meratzeh. So the same thing as ratio. So well, who said? Midir yakedi sakedi so. It's not the same thing. Two different cases. So by b'chor I don't have it, but by shlomim I do. Says well, my kavash v'lan. So why do I bring this example? Gavoy v'no kavash v'lan. I'll tell you going higher, going lower. So what Tanina already learned. If I do kodesh kalim, it's possible. Kodesh kadosh is kosher. How the tamo says more answers the more. Kodesh kalim okay, when you're going from higher kedusha, lower kedusha, that's the difference. Aval kalim v'kalim meaning going from chor to and meiser to shlomim, they're both kodesh kalim. So maybe loy, maybe no. No kalim, so it's all the same camp. So the one we learned that as well. Shlomi koyed me mesabchor b'shetuni matan arbo v'smicho v'nechos v'sochim v'nuvus chazer shaykh. The one's going to learn later. There's a Mishnah, come on, that tells us that shlomim, if I have in front of me two korbanos, and the kohen has to decide which one to use, will be shlomim or bchor? Just shlomim. Why shlomim? Because shlomim is more stronger. Why? Because you have to do matan arbo. Matan arbo means you have to sprinkle. You have to do
order of shechting.
Yeah, order.
Two different people bringing in a korban.
Two different korban, yeah. And I have to decide which one to put in the mizbeach first. Shlomi goes first. Why is Matarab? You have to do it in the four corners. You just spill the blood on one place. For smicha, you have to lean in it. For the sochim, you have to bring wine. For you have to pick up the breast and the thigh. You have to pick it up. So you have things that Shlomi have that are strong in the prayer. So I already know that Shlomi is more than prayer. So you want to tell me, maybe prayer and Shlomi are the same thing? Well, no, we learned that Shlomi comes before prayer, so not the same. Says the Gemara, so what by us is the main place where we teach that Shlomi is greater than prayer. There, we just mentioned there all the things that come first, so we mentioned that as well. But the main place is over here, and that's why the Chiddush is that even though Shlomi and Bchor, they're both Kodesh Kalim, Shlomi is stronger than Bchor. So let's stop over here. It's 10 o'clock. We'll stop over here in the Mishnah. Also, the Mishnah goes into the next daf. I don't know.